All right, everyone, so I'm going to show you the warm-up and exercise routine utilizing your pieces of equipment. Okay, so the pieces of equipment are going to be two short mini bands. The green one is the lighter resistance. The blue one is a little bit more aggressive with the resistance. Yours might have, it might be different colors. That's fine. Just know for this given example of the workout, the green one is the lighter one. The blue one's the more resistance. And then we're also going to have a pair of sliders. Okay, and lastly, we're going to have one super band. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch super band. It's red, but yours might be a different color, which is fine. You can even get away with having one that's a little thicker, a little thinner, depending on what you have at your house. You can still do a lot of the exercises. Okay, so we have the mini bands, super band, and a pair of sliders, and we're going to get a full body workout from warm up to workout to cool down just with that pieces of equipment. I'm not going to take you through the entire workout. What you're going to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the exercises, and it's up to you to accomplish the entire routine. You can do anywhere from about 3 to 5 rounds depending on how you're feeling, and the most important thing are going to be the repetitions. Okay, so I'm going to assign some pretty generalized repetitions because I can't individualize this for every single body's personal fitness level. But it's up to you to understand that if I assign you 15 repetitions, and after 15 you don't feel not too much of a, you're getting fatigued or you're not feeling the burning in the muscles, then it's up to you to continue those repetitions. What I like to tell people is you want to go about, for the most part, for most of these exercises, you're going to go to about maybe 2 or 3 reps shy of failure. Okay, some exercises you might go to failure. Let's just say if it's a push-up and it's the last round, I might have you do as many as you can as long as you're maintaining good form. But for the most part, I want you to think, if I assign 3 sets of 15 repetitions, and at the 15th repetition you're maybe about 60% kind of fatigued and you still got a lot more in the tank, keep going until you get about 2 to 3 reps shy of complete failure. So you're going to be burning pretty good right before you stop. So if you do 15 and you still have a lot more in the tank and you can take it to say 20, maybe you can only do 25 of a given number of repetitions of an exercise, stop at about 22 or 23. And you'll know once you're getting close to failure when it's time to pull back. You don't want to completely go to failure every time because then it's going to, that fatigue is going to carry on over into the following exercises, but you do want to push yourself. So always, that's the most important thing with this, is to make sure you're getting an effective workout. You got to train the muscles near fatigue because we don't have a lot of resistance on most of these exercises, so we're going to have to push ourselves close to that fatigue, to that limit of where you can't do no more repetitions. So again, you want to go, for the most part, 2 to 3 reps shy of failure, and for the last round, more than likely you're going to take it to failure. Okay, so that's the most important part of this workout. Now, before we get into the actual workout, I want everyone to make sure you're warming up. You're not just jumping straight into the workout. Not a lot of people love to warm up because it's not the sexy stuff, but it's important, especially if you've been at home, maybe sitting down a lot because you're working from home or you haven't been moving much. You got to implement this warm up to kind of get you loosened up a little bit, get your heart rate moving a little bit before you get into the workout, or else you can get injured or you're just not going to get that much of an effective workout because you're very tense and very tight in certain joints, and you're not very mobile, and it's going to affect your ability to get in certain positions. Okay, so make sure you're not skipping the warm-up. The first exercise we're going to do within your warm-up is going to be a lunge. So you're going to take whatever side you're going to start on. You're going to take a nice good lunge. Okay, you're going to bring your hands to the ground. Okay, back leg is straight, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your left arm, you're going to kind of reach towards your feet, and then you're going to open and go to the sky. Okay, my head's going to follow my hand. I'm really trying to focus on stretching the hip flexors on this side, so you should feel a good stretch on the hip flexors on your right side. And then I'm going to get a nice stretch on my left glute. Now I'm going to look, I'm going to bring my hand back down, I'm going to step back, and then I'm going to take my foot on the outside of my hand. Okay, I'm going to put my hand on my head, I'm going to reach my elbow to my foot, and then I'm going to open to the other side. Okay, I'm going to get a good stretch on my glute on this side and my hip flexor stretching on the other side. And I'm going to look up. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to keep doing it. Other side. Here. Okay, so I'm going to show you a side view. Okay, I want you to make sure you're looking at this leg. It's going to be straight. So I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to reach. Okay, hand back, stretch. Okay, and reach. The key thing is make sure to try to avoid that heel popping up. Keep it nice and stable to the ground. Open up. Get a good stretch here on the glute. Okay, if you need to, you can kind of bend the knee a little bit, but if you can, try to keep it straight and open up, and then you're bringing it back. Okay, so what I want you to do with that exercise is you're going to do a total, okay, a total of 10. So you're going to do 5 on one side and 5 on the other side, but you're going to go back and forth. So a total of 10 sets, left, right, and so on. Okay, make sure you're opening up. Take your time. It is going to get you out of breath a little bit because you're holding an isometric, basically an isometric lunge. Okay, so now from there, we're going to do 10 of those. You're going to come on up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring one foot on top of the other leg, right on top of the knee. Okay, so basically like where my ankle is, I'm going to place it right on top of the knee. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend that leg and I'm going to sit back. Okay, it's going to be a little tough on your balance, but you're going to get a good stretch on the back side, the piriformis. Okay, you're going to hold that and then you're going to come back up. Other side. Hold that. I'm a lot tighter on this side, so it's a little tougher for me on this side. Come back up. Now, if you can't do that, what you can do is you can grab and use your leg or use your arms, grab your leg, place it, kind of hold yourself, and get a good stretch there. Okay? Grab it, stretch, push your hips back. So this is what it looks like from the side. Okay? I'm going to place it, push my hips back, come back up. The goal of the stretch is here. Okay, whatever leg's on top, I'm going to stretch and come back up. Okay, same thing. You're going to do a total of 10, 5 and 5, making sure you're getting a nice good stretch. Take your time because you're going to be a little wobbly. Okay, now from there, we're going into a lower back stretch. Okay, you're going to get on all fours, hands underneath the shoulder. Okay, nice flat back. What you're going to do is you're going to arch your back, get your head looking to the sky, kind of sticking your butt up, and then you're going to do the opposite. Going to kind of hunch, look like a scared cat, and then you're just going to slowly rotate back and forth. Okay, you're going to do 10 of these as well. Okay, up and down is 1 rep, and you're going to do 10 of those. Okay, now from there, you're going to be in the same position. Okay, make sure your hands are underneath the shoulders. You're going to try to lift opposite arm, opposite leg, and you're going to reach out and kick back. Okay, you should be a nice good straight line from your thumb to your shoulder to your heel, and then you're going to come back in, try to balance yourself, don't touch the ground, and then back out. Okay, what you don't want to do is arch your back like crazy. Okay, you don't want that arch. You want to keep your ribs down, and it's going to be a good warm-up for the entire body, not just on the arm and the leg that's in the air. You're going to feel it in your shoulder and your hip side, on your other side of your hip. Okay, and then we're going to do opposite. First lift, and then reach. Make sure your chin is tucked. Okay, same thing. You're going to do 10 of those. Okay, now from there, we're going to go into a position where we're going to be lying on the ground. Okay, and you're going to pretend like you're getting arrested, and you're going to basically put your hands behind your back. Okay, you want to do this exercise or this warm-up fairly slowly. Okay, again, not everyone's going to be able to get to that back position, and that's okay. Don't force getting your hands on top of one another. Just do your best. Let your shoulders dictate your range or your shoulder mobility dictate how far you're able to go. Don't force the ranges. Okay, don't force it. You're going to do more harm than good. Okay. Okay, so you're going to start off lying on the ground. You might hear my mic kind of muffle a little bit because it's touching the ground. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to elevate your arms, okay? And then you're going to reach, keeping your palms down. And then as soon as you get to about maybe like you're making like a cross, you're going to start to flip your palms up. And then you're going to pretend like you're getting arrested, okay? Hold it for a quick second, and then rotate back to the top. Okay, now I'm going to switch which hand goes on top now. Same thing. Other hand is going on top. Ooh, pretty tight this morning. Okay, and you're going to do 10 of these total. Okay, once you get 10 of the handcuff exercise, now you're going to keep your arms out like you're flying like Superman or Superwoman, and you're going to slowly bring your elbows to your side. Okay, keeping your chin down, big reach. Okay, your goal is to try to keep your palms and your forearms, okay, parallel to the ground. You're going to do 10 of these. Okay, smooth and slow. Okay, when you get here, you want to really squeeze that upper back, drive your elbows into your body. You can have your feet either on the ground or in the air. Just try to avoid too much of the arch in that lower back. You just want your chest to come off the ground. Get a good squeeze of that back, okay? Now once you get 10 of the handcuffs and the Supermans, okay? So now we're going to kind of get the shoulders, upper body involved, a little bit of the core. We're going to do what's called shoulder taps, okay? So you're going to get into a high plank position or a push-up position, okay? Keep your feet fairly spread apart, okay? And what you're going to do slowly, you're going to stabilize your body. You're going to touch and tap one side, go to the next. Okay, what you're going to see is, I'm not just tapping it, I'm actually going to place my hand for a quick second and then come back off. Quick second, come back off. The goal is to pretend like you have a hot cup of coffee on your back and you don't want to spill it, okay? So you don't want to do this. Okay, try to avoid that. You might move a little bit, you're going to tilt a little bit, but the goal is to minimize how much tilting and movement you're doing, okay? So I'm going to show you from the side. Spread your feet apart. If you want it a little easier, you can go really wide, okay? Go hands a little bit more narrow. Tap. So you want to avoid this, avoid that. Okay, if you can do one or two and then take a little rest, 10 seconds, and then right back up. So do 1, 2, and then rest, okay? So every time you go left and right, that is 1. You're going to do a total of 10. Take your time. Don't rush these. Really try, when one arm comes up, the other arm is driven into the ground, and you're nice and stable, okay? Now the next exercise of your warm-up, you're going to grab your lighter mini band. So in this case is the green one. Okay. You're going to place it above the knees. Okay, everyone, when they put these mini bands on, they always seem to get them tangled. So I always like to teach people how to put them on the right way. So once they're on your ankle, okay, you're going to use your thumbs. Put your thumbs under, and then you're just going to kind of inch all the way up. Okay, everyone just puts them on and then they get tangled up, and good luck trying to get them nice and flat. Okay, one, if they're not flat, they're going to kind of dig into your skin and the resistance is going to feel a little weird. Okay, so use your thumbs and just kind of inch your way up. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to do 2 mini band walks one way, and then you're going to do a squat and then left. Like, first thing, you want your feet to be outside your hips. You're going to bend the legs a little bit, pushing your hips back. Okay, so from here we're going to go one way. So I'm going to come towards you. Okay, hips are back. You're not hunched over. You're not excessively standing nice and tall. Good athletic position. You're going to drive your knees out. Okay, get a little tension. So your goal the entire time is to prevent the knees from coming in, keeping some tension on the band. Okay, so from here I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to give 1 body weight squat. Come back to the athletic position. 1, 2, body weight squat, all the way up, all the way down. Now I'm going to show you from the side, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2. As I squat, I'm going to come all the way up, squeezing my butt, okay? Coming back the other way, 1, 2, stand up, squat. Okay, if you can't squat all the way down, it's okay. Just try to get a good depth. Make sure your heels are not popping up. Okay, you're shooting your hips back. And then, at the top, you're squeezing your glutes. Okay, you want a nice strong contraction. So once you guessed it, 10. Okay, so when I go one way and back the other way, that's 1. I'm going to do 10 of those. So 1, 2, squat, 1, 2, squat. That's 1 rep. You're going to do 10 total. Okay? So once you get done with those 10, you're going to get the last kind of stretch or mobility exercise is to stretch out your pecs. Okay? So what you're going to do on this one, you're going to lie on your side. Okay? You're going to have your knees bent. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to put one hand on top of the other. Okay? What you want to imagine, like if you have paint on your fingertips, let's just say you have white paint, and you're going to draw a big white circle on the ground. And as soon as you get to about maybe when your bicep gets to your ear, you're going to kind of let it flop over. And then you're going to keep going until you get to like a cross position, and then you're going to bring it back. Okay? The goal of this, you're going to stretch is to really stretch and open up the chest. You're going to feel really good stretch. Try to keep your knees together, so don't do this. Okay, so you want to really be, when you stretch, you want your knees still be together. You don't want to be rotating your entire body. Okay, and once you get here, just come over the side. And we're going to do 10 of these. Make sure you do it on both sides. Do these nice and slow. As I go over, I'm going to keep looking with my eyes to my fingers, and I'm going to open and close. Okay? So you're going to do 10 of those, and that's going to be kind of your warm-up to get your body kind of moving a little bit, get your lower back, your hips, everything kind of primed up and ready for the workout. Okay? So pretty much you don't got to figure out too much, just follow the instructions, 10 reps of most of this stuff, and then you're ready to go. So now once you got done with this warm-up, that is the start of your workout, and now we're going into the workout. So the way the workouts are structured, okay, you're going to have 3 exercises. We're going to go by letters and numbers. So the first kind of group of exercise that you're going to do together, or what you're going to do is like a superset. Okay, you're going to go from A1 to A2 to A3. Okay, all A's are basically grouped together, and then you're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the first selection or group of exercise that you're going to be doing back to back are going to be a slider reverse lunge, a band pull apart, and a push-up. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first one. You need your sliders. You only need 1. Okay, with these are really versatile. You can do them on hardwood floor, on a yoga mat, on carpet, outside on concrete, doesn't matter. You can do this exercise anywhere. So you're going to put 1, okay? You're going to put 1 foot on the slider, okay? I prefer that you put that foot kind of right in the middle with the balls of your foot, okay? What you want to imagine is you want to make sure that this slider slides fairly easy. Okay, so if you feel like you have a lot of friction, that means you're putting way too much of your body weight on that slider leg. Okay, so I always like to think I got about maybe 90% of my body weight on the leg that's not on the slider, and maybe about 5 or 10% on the leg that's on the slider. So it should slide back and forth fairly smooth. Okay, key thing is you want to make sure that toe is pointed straight ahead. If you have a little bit of external rotation in the foot, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to be too far out or too far in. Fairly, you want it to be kind of in line with your knee. Okay, you're going to place the ball of your foot so the heel is elevated. okay? And what you're gonna do is you can have your hands here, hands on your hips, or like if you're sprinting, which is kind of what I like to do. So as I go down, I'm gonna push that slider back. I'm gonna go into a lunge, and then I'm gonna come up, okay? Key thing here is you don't want that foot to go too far back, and then you're gonna get way too far into this position, okay? So if you look at it from the side, okay, I'm going enough where I can push it back, and then I'm basically bringing this left knee to the ground, okay? Okay, when I come forward, okay, I want to make sure not only am I squeezing my quad, but I'm squeezing my backside, my glute, okay? So I'm going to push it back. As I come forward, I'm squeezing, okay? Best way to think about it, if you had a tail, you want to tuck that tail underneath by squeezing your glute and really getting your glutes involved, not just more of the quads, okay? So with the reverse lunge, you're going to do one leg at a time, and then you're going to move to the next leg, okay? Take your time. It doesn't have to be super fast. You're going to need a little bit of balance if you've never done these before. You're going to be doing 3 sets of anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions per leg. Again, if you get to 15 and it's easy way to make this hard is hold on to something. So you can carry a backpack, you can carry bottles of water, you can carry bags of rice, whatever. You can load it up if you have something to hold on to, where if you get up to 15 and you're still not feeling it, you should be loading yourself. Put a backpack on, okay? If you can only get to 10, it's all good. If you can only get to 6, it's all good, but try to get to about 10 to 15 repetitions per leg. A2, we just got done with the reverse lunge, okay? Now we're going to be doing the band pull apart. So you're going to get your bigger band, the super band. Well, again, whatever, if you have too thick of a band, this might be a challenging exercise. So preferably you want about either the 1/2 inch or the inch super band, okay? You can make it harder by holding on to both of them. So if you have the even smaller one that's thinner than the 1/2 inch, then you might need to grab onto both of them, okay? But for this example, I'm using the 1/2 inch. I'm going to do a single band demonstration. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your arms out in front of you, okay? You're going to grab this band with your hands. Again, if you start off closer, it becomes harder. If you start off wider, it becomes a little easier. So play around with that. I usually tell people to start off with about shoulder width, maybe slightly outside, okay? So when you're going to start, you want to put a little bit of tension on the band. So I don't want you starting like this. Start with a little bit of tension and understand that that is your starting point every rep, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to just go and rip this band apart, and you're going to pull it right into the chest, and then you're going to bring it back. And right when you get to about that position where you're about to lose tension, you're going to go into the next rep, okay? You want this band coming right across the chest or right across the nipple line, okay? You don't want it to come into your head or your neck or too low. An easy way to just pull right over the nipple line, squeeze, and try to rip the band apart, okay? One thing to avoid is when you're doing this, try not to shrug or try not to let the hands externally rotate out, okay? I always try to tell people, if you can, pretend like you have a tattoo on your knuckles, and I should be able to read it the entire time. Meaning if I walk this way, I can read it. If I'm in front of you, I can read it as you pull the band pull apart, okay? So if I turn around, essentially I'm going to just show you, I'm basically just trying to really squeeze that upper back, okay? Okay, so I'm basically just trying to really get that upper back engaged, squeeze and try to rip this band apart, okay? So with the band pull aparts, again, you're going from A1, which is the reverse lunge with the sliders, and then you're going into band pull aparts. These you're going to do about 15 to 20 reps. With 15 to 20 reps, most people are going to feel it pretty good. If it's too easy, let's just say you have one of these bands and you're really strong, or you have a thin band, you can double it up and do the same thing with 2 bands, okay? It makes it, okay, it basically doubles the resistance. So this 15 to 20 reps, you should start to feel it. Make sure you're not shrugging and getting other muscles involved. Just band pull parts, fairly simple to do. We move on to A3, okay? This is the third exercise of the 3. So remember, we go from A1, A2, A3, and then we repeat that cycle for 3 rounds, okay? You don't need that much rest in between because you're working different muscle groups with every exercise. If you can take about anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute of rest and then move on. But you should be moving fairly quickly with these sets and groups of exercises, okay? So A3 is the push-up. None fancy about it, but it's one of the best upper body exercises, especially for a pressing motion. But make sure you're doing these correctly. This is an easy exercise that a lot of people mess up because they've never been coached on how to do a proper push-up. So this is one of those things, check your ego, because you want quality over quantity. Now, sets and reps with the push-up. This is one of those exercises where I'm not going to give you a number. I'd rather tell you want to go about 3 reps shy of failure. Okay, so some of you that are really strong, that doesn't mean go and do 50 of them, right? I'd rather you try to stay below 20 reps, but if 20 reps is too easy, you got to find a way to make it harder. So you can elevate your feet, so you're doing more of like a decline, and you're going to lift more of your body weight. You can put a backpack on, strap it on your back, put some weight in there, put some water bottles and rice bags in there, make it heavier. But if you're doing more than 20 reps, find a way to make it harder, okay? But the goal is to go about 3 reps shy of failure. So if you can do 10, that means you're stopping at around 7. And then the last round is where you just want to go to failure, okay? So basic push-up, nothing too crazy, but you have a couple different varieties that you can do. So you can always start with on your knees, okay? You're here. I always like to start with my hands slightly in front of my shoulders, and then I'm going to bring my belly button to the ground. Okay, that's how you progress it. Okay, so I'm looking at you from the side. So you're here, belly button and thighs to the ground, press. What you don't want is this or this. Okay, everything from the upper body moves together. Okay, that's your regression. Now again, regular push-up, nice hands underneath the shoulders, press. Okay, with these, you can also do like a hand release push-up. So what that is you're going to go all the way down, hands release off the ground, and press. Okay, I think it makes it a little bit more of a challenge because it slows things down. But again, you can make this exercise harder. Start off with your feet pretty wide, and then if you want to make it a little harder, put your feet closer together and more narrow. But you can also, if you have like a couch or a bench or a table, whatever, you can put your hands on that, make it a little easier. Okay, and if you want to make it harder, do the opposite. Feet on the bench. So there's a lot of different ways to either progress it or regress it. If you're trying to progress it, easy way, put a backpack on, load it up with some textbooks, and now you got a resistant a push-up with added resistance. Or you can also get your band, if you want to make it harder, okay, twist it one time, so there's kind of like an X, okay. Once you have that X, you're going to put your hands in it, and you're going to put it on your back like so. Okay, so you want it sitting right below your shoulder blades. You can do it on a bench like this. Okay. Make sure you press all the way up. You can do it on the ground. Okay. So you can use this super band for added resistance. So that's your first set of exercises. You're going 3 rounds with the given number of repetitions. And again, the last round, I usually tell people, anytime I have where you're stopping reps shy of failure, just go to failure. So with the push-ups, you would try to take it as many as you can, as long as your form is holding strong. Now we're moving on to the B series, okay? So now that we got all A1, A2, and A3 done for 3 rounds, now we move on to the B series, okay? So now we have a B1, a B2, and a B3, and you're gonna do the same thing, one after another for 3 rounds, okay? So the first exercise is gonna be utilizing your super band. Okay, this is going to be a banded deadlift. Okay, again, if you have a thinner band, you're not going to get tons of resistance. So these are more about kind of getting the squeeze in the hammies and the glutes, really emphasizing that nice, good, strong contraction. We're going to do a little bit more on the higher rep range. Okay, so we're going to be doing anywhere from 15 to 20 reps. What you're going to do with this one, okay, you're going to grab your band. You're going to essentially step on it. Okay. The wider you place your feet on these, the more resistance you're going to get, okay? So I usually would probably go about slightly wider than hip width, okay? So now I got a good amount of tension. And then also, if you want to make it harder, you can grab the band with a wider grip. Make it a little easier, a little bit more narrow. So I'm going to step on it, try to make sure that there's an even amount of tension. I'm going to grab it fairly low, and then I'm going to come up and squeeze. Every time I'm really emphasizing squeezing my butt cheeks, okay? So if you look at it from the side, starting position, okay? We're not in a squat position, we're in a deadlift position. So the deadlift means you want your hips starting higher than your knees. So you don't want to start like this, you want to start like this. You want to place some stretch on your hammies, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come up, chin tucked, and you're just going to tuck your tail, squeezing your butt cheeks. Notice when I come up, I'm not arching my lower back. All I'm doing is squeezing my glutes. As I squeeze my glutes, I'm kind of bringing my rims down. So I'm squeezing my glutes, okay, what we term posterior pelvic tilt. So your pelvis is tilting posteriorly. You're going to squeeze your butt. You're going to stand up nice and tall. Hammies, quads, everything's nice and engaged, okay? So this is what it looks like. I'm going to show you 5 reps. Squeeze, 1, 2, arms are straight, 3, 4, 5. Okay, try to avoid hunching your upper back and doing this. Nice, hips are back. You're going to feel this one, especially if you're focused on that nice, strong contraction. Okay, if you're just kind of going through the motion, you're not going to feel it too much. But I mean, I can deadlift a decent amount of weight, and even with this little band, I can feel my glutes turning on pretty good. So focus on the squeeze. We're trying to get about 15 to 20 reps. Try not to take too many breaks in between. Just try to go through, squeeze, and you'll feel your glutes on fire. Okay, so that's B1. 2 now. After those deadlifts, you're going to be burning pretty good in those glutes and a little bit of the hammies as well. So now we're going to continue that posterior musculature with these exercises. We're going to go into a floor mini band hip bridge, okay? So again, you got the lighter band, more aggressive band. You can even put on both on if you want more added resistance, okay? So for this demo, I'm just going to put on the green one, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to place them. Again, use your thumbs to make sure you can get them flat, or else you're going to be here for quite some time. Okay, so you're going to place it right over on top of your knees. Okay, you're going to put your heels close to your butt. Okay, so you're going to be here. What you're going to do is you're going to start driving your hips up, and you're going to posterior tilt your pelvis again. You're going to squeeze your butt, come down. I like to keep my toes in the air so I can emphasize driving my heels into the ground. Okay, you don't want to go super high where you start to use your lower back too much. Okay, all you want to do is feel your posterior pelvic tilt, and again, like you have a tail and you're tucking the tail. What you don't want is those knees to buckle. Okay, you don't want them coming in. You want to keep tension on that band. Okay, so you're going to do about 15 to 20 reps of these. And again, if you want to make it harder, You put the blue band on. You can even double it up and put them both on if you want more added resistance for the glutes, okay? So just make sure those knees are not buckling, you're keeping them out. Okay, so now we're on B3, okay? So we're on the third exercise on the B series. So we went B1, B2, now we're on B3, okay? So now we're going to use the mini bands. We can also use the bigger band, but I'm going to show you first with the little mini bands how we can get a row in, okay? So these bands are pretty dang strong. I've only had them kind of rip over a long period of use, so they're pretty strong, but I'll never guarantee you that they won't rip. So you just got to be careful. As long as you're holding it, even if it does rip, it's going nowhere. But these are pretty dang strong if you have, especially the branded, the Perform Better ones. The other ones, I've read some pretty bad reviews, so just make sure if you have the better band quality of the brands, then you should be okay. So what you're going to do, again, you got different resistance. I'm going to show you the green one. So you're going to do a row. So if you don't have a dumbbell, you can use the band resistance. So you're going to grab this band, place it on top of kind of where the shoelaces begin, okay? You're going to step on it. You're going to kind of put that back foot out. You're going to bring up your chest so you have a nice flatter back. And what you're going to do is you're going to row. Okay, I like to do a little rotation. Key thing is you don't want to shrug, okay? You want to pull your hand almost to your pocket. Okay, so from the side, the key thing is making sure you're not hunched over. Okay, so you're going to take a nice, good kind of split position. Grab the band with one arm. Nice strong grip. Okay, flat back, head down, pull and row. Trying to work those lats, those rhomboids. Try to really squeeze and stretch and then row. Okay, the key thing with the other hand, I like to give it a little bit of support. So if I'm here, I'm going to put my hand on my hip, row, row, row. Okay, let this leg do some of the work, kind of holding a semi-lunge position, and then you're just rowing. Okay, so again, green band, you want more resistance, you grab it. I'm going to show you on the other side where those shoelaces begin, and then I'm going to rotate. This one gives some good rotation. To make it a little harder, I like to, when you pull, give yourself maybe a second of a hold and then bring it back. Key thing, when you row, don't shrug up. Try to pull your hand kind of to your hip or your pocket. Okay, so these work really well. But there's another way you can use even this band. So what you're going to do is you're going to lie it on the ground, step on it. Okay. The less band you see on where your hand is, so this side of the band, the less you see, more resistant. More you see, less resistant. So you can play around with it a little bit. So you step on it. Make sure you are putting pressure onto the band, or else you lift it up, it's going to smack you in the face. Okay. So lie it on the ground, choose the amount of resistance you want, step on it, put a little extra weight with this arm. Okay, so I'm going to show you from this side. Same thing, lie on it, grab it, flat back. Actually, this might be a little too low, so I'm here. Okay, when you pull, quick hold. Okay, so this is a great exercise as a row for your lats, your rhomboids, and all that back musculature. Okay, so that's B3 of your B series. You're going to go B1, B2, B3, and you're going to repeat that 3 times. With the rows, you're going to do about 15 to 20 repetitions. Now we're going into C3. So now we're going to work the triceps. We're going to use one arm at a time. We're going to be using the smaller band. Okay, you can use the thicker band, or the band with more resistance, but I'm going to show you the one with the green one. These are going to be higher reps. You're going to do sets of 20, nice and smooth. You don't want to just pump these out super fast. So make sure you're squeezing your tricep. So I'm going to show you from the back side what it looks like. So you're going to grab it with 2 arms, okay? And then what you're going to do, put on your lower back, extend it out. Make sure when you're going up, all the way up, okay, so you can kind of stretch out this band a little, play around with it as far as how you're holding it. You can play around with it, go a little lower, a little higher, but just make sure when you grab this thing, okay, where'd you go? You're here, okay, I'm going to extend out. The good part about this exercise is when you're extending your arm, the other arm has to kind of hold on to it. So you're kind of squeezing and using both sides, but you're dominantly working that tricep that's extending the body. Okay? So again, you're going C1, C2, C3 of this tricep extension. You're doing sets of 15 to 20. Okay? And you're going to go through the C series, 1, 2, and 3 back to back. So a full body workout utilizing your pieces of equipment, okay? We have the sliders, the super band, and the 2 mini bands, okay? So I want you to try that workout out, okay? Take your time on these exercises. This is not meant to be like a cardio workout or cardio circuit that you're implementing, okay? This is more, try to get in more of a resistance training feel where you're taking your time. It shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. You should be going through it fairly quickly. Minimal amount of rest periods, only if you need it, but every exercise that you're moving through back to back is working opposite or different muscle groups, okay? So again, you're going through the A series, B series, and C series. Give it a shot, let me know what you think, and feel free to reach out with any modifications you might need, and I can show you those.